Hi y'all, it's Angie and I'm out checking the garden today. My beans have gone crazy and I thought I'd let you take a look at everything. We've had so much rain that everything is just growing like crazy, but mostly everything's done producing fruit. Oh, my grapes have gone nuts. So my beans have been insane. We have other stuff planned for today, but you see all the rain, the beans have gone really pretty crazy. I've been picking every day. Something's getting them now. Grasshoppers are out here. I'm fixing to, next month, I got tomatoes that are probably going to produce for another month or so. Fixing to rip this out in October and I'll be planting carrots everywhere. There's a cherry tomato. I'll eat that. You can see things are growing really good. The beans are just nuts. Got my vine peaches over here. A lot of people don't know what vine peaches are. They're an heirloom fruit. They're really a melon, but they have they have a scent and appearance of a peach, and they really are used as a fruit stretcher. Use them with apples and pears and cook them in cakes and breads, and they will assume the flavor of whatever recipe you put them in. And you can see my vine's about dying here. It's about done, but there's a few left on there. So I'm going to grab a couple of these beans that are ready to go in, and then we'll go in. We have some sewing projects to get underway. We're going to make a skirt from a dress. I have a couple different rugs to show you in upcoming videos, a confetti rug and a toothbrush rag rug. And we also have upcoming videos of making echinacea and elderberry preventative cold and viral type tea with tea bags. So let me get some of these beans and we'll go on in and we'll start our sewing project. I'm going to show you how to make a skirt out of a dress. Find something that I really like the fabric or a part of the dress that I like, but maybe the top isn't as modest as I want, or it just doesn't fit me exactly right or something. So what I'll often do is I'll go ahead and purchase it and I'll make that dress into a skirt. I'm going to show you, this is the one we're going to be using. It's a simple sundress and it has a zipper in the back, and we're going to be cutting it off, the bodice off, and just making it into a skirt. But let me show you one. This works for almost any style dress. This was a dress that buttoned up the front and had a tie. And what I did was I just cut the bodice off of it and maintained the waistband. And now I have a button-up skirt, and I've saved the sash, and I've kept the sash loops. I just cut it right above it. So it's really easier than you think. First of all, if your dress has a natural waistband, like this one had a waistband, you can see the waistband. This one has a decorative waistband on it. So if a dress is made like that, that's the simplest of all, because all you're going to be doing is cutting it slightly above the waistband, so you can turn that under and hem it. Super easy. On the back, the zipper, it won't go all the way up. So what we'll do is when we get to the thing, we'll just hem that under, and we'll take a few hand stitches and make like a stop. We just do a few loops around each thing, and then your zipper will stop at the thing. It's very simple. If you have a dress that doesn't have a natural waistband, and I don't have an example because I just didn't have one today, but what you'll do is you'll put the dress on and mark where you want the skirt to hit. Like if you want to make it a longer skirt and your dress is all one piece, let's just say like a muumuu, okay? Because there's no waist. There's no definition to that. There's not a bodice and a skirt. It's just one solid piece of fabric. So put the dress on. Find out where do you want the skirt to hit on your body. If you want it longer, then you're going to have to allow more of the top fabric. Maybe just cut right under the arms. If you like it the length where it is, just take a couple pins and mark it on your body. And then you're going to cut your dress. I would say start 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches above where you want it, because in a dress with no definition, no bodice and skirt, you're going to have to make a casing to run elastic, and what you're essentially making it is an elastic waist skirt at that point. So just cut it about 3 or 4 inches above where you want that skirt to be. Fold it under twice, all edges to your inside, and just sew it. Sew a casing, and then you're going to feed a piece of elastic through there. The way I figure my elastic is take the elastic, put it around yourself without stretching it, and then cut that in half. Usually that will work, because then when it's stretched, it will continue. If you want it a little looser, then I would just take off about 1/4 of wrap it around your waist and take off about 1/4 of that. And that'll give you a looser. You can always tighten the skirt up later. So I always err on the side of caution, and I cut the elastic too big. That way when I put it through the casing and I hem it up, if I think that it needs to be a little tighter, there's 2 ways you can fix it. You can either pop the seams and cut the elastic and pull it, make it tighter, or you can just cut a little hole in it. And I do this a lot of times with elastic waist skirts. If I like the thrift store, and say it's a couple sizes bigger, but I like the fullness, I'll just cut a little hole in the inside of the waistband, pull the elastic out, sew it where I want it, make it tighter, and then cut off that elastic, poke it back in the hole, and sew that little hole up inside. No one ever sees it, and it makes your waistband smaller. I've never made a casing before and never fed elastic through the thing. I have a video on making reusable gift bags, and in that I show how to feed a piece of ribbon through a casing. It's the same concept. You're just going to be using elastic instead of the ribbon, feeding it through the casing. And a casing is just a little tunnel, remember, like on top of curtains, that you just make at the very top. So in this case, wherever you've cut your skirt, your dress, to make it into the skirt. So on this dress, because we already have a natural waistband, I'm going to start in the back. First of all, make sure your zipper is all the way at the bottom so you don't lose your little zipper pull. And you can see how this has a natural waistband. It has a decorative waistband. And here's my armhole. So because I don't have to do any kind of casing on this, all I'm going to be doing on this is hemming it under. So that will be it. So I'm going to do about 1 inch. And I know I'm winging this. I've been sewing since I was 6 years old. So I do a lot of winging things just because I do. I'm not one of those kind of people that everything has to be super concise. If for some reason I'm doing something that does have to be super concise, then I will be more, I'll measure everything. But like I said, this is an easy project. This particular dress has a lining. So I'm just going to treat all of this as one fabric. Now, let me turn my skirt inside out. And this is a really nice skirt. It was dress. It was really lined. And so now you see the inside. It's a little darker. So what I'm going to do, I don't want a raw edge. And see, we got the raw edge. So I'm going to fold it over twice. The first time we'll just be folding that raw edge in, and the second time will be where I'm going to sew. So let me pin that. Now, you can see just how I'm going. Here's the front. What it's going to look like. I'm just going to sew right here. I'm probably going to do 2 stitches, like a flat seam, just for the decorative purposes of it. And I'm just pinning it under here. Like I said, I'm just going to skip past the zipper part right now, and I'm going to do that part by hand. So I'm just going to get it under the foot, and I'm just going to do a straight stitch where I've pinned, and then when I finish sewing where I've pinned, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to flat seam for a decorative purpose over the top. You can see that I have done the hem, just hemmed it under. So now I'm going to do it, I'm just going to flat seam it to give it a little bit more structure, more of a little finished look. To me, when you flat seam, top seam, is what I should be saying. When you top seam something, it just allows it to lay flatter, and to me, it gives it a more finished look. See that it's been flat seamed twice on the top. So now I have this weird little thing on each end where the zipper is. This one's still pinned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a needle and thread, and I'm just going to fold this under, and I'm going to hand sew this. I'm going to hand sew it closed, and then I'm going to do a stitch around this top part, and it's going to create, you know, like when you look at the zippers and it has that little metal stop at the top that just keeps the pull from continuing off the zipper. So I'm just going to make my own with a couple stitches right here, and it won't, and that way it'll keep it from going past that zipper. Alright, so the end, it's messier on the inside than the outside, and I've just gone through and turned it over, and then I did just a blanket stitch on there to sort of secure the ends. So the zipper is going to stop right here. I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll turn it inside out and look at the dress. Alright, so I'm going to turn my skirt back inside out, right side out. And there is the waistband. There is the zipper. And you see that it stops right where I want it to stop. And so you can have the finished skirt. And I'll put some pictures in the video so you can see the just laying out what it looks like. So there's this very simple way to turn a dress that either no longer fits, or you got inexpensively, or to be able to buy something that you love the fabric but you didn't like the top part of the dress. So you're sort of redesigning very simply the garment from a dress into a skirt. Very simple. Like I said, if you're doing a casing and elastic waist, a little bit more complicated, but overall, I mean, you cut it, pin it, sew it, and that's it. I mean, it's a very simple project. It doesn't have to be precise, doesn't have to be super measured unless you have a new skirt. So this has been an easy project, and I hope you'll give it a try. So thank you for joining me, and check out my other videos. This has been Angie from Canterbury Trails.